This is Spoken by Elswith, a Femdom Hypnosis podcast, Season 4. Alright, so this episode is a mix of polyamory, swinging, cuckolding, music suggestions, and storytelling, in no particular order. But first, where have I been? And a thank you for a present that recently arrived. It was perfect timing, truly perfect timing. So lately, like last week, just a crazy mix of personal and practical issues. They just managed to eat into my recording time and editor availability. As many of you probably cottoned on by the number of times I complain about it, even though I love it, I do live in a city, and sometimes the noise that goes on around me, it's completely out of my control. Now, I know the other podcasters tend to be the types to work like weeks and weeks ahead. I kind of don't like to do that because I love to get the feedback from you and then we do this together. I feel like if I just go way ahead, I'm basically doing this on my own. Lucky for you, it didn't stop my writing. So I have a unique treat in progress for you. It'll be free and available to everyone. It's about 75% completed. And yes, you hear a dog in the background. But we're just going to go ahead. It's about 75% done. I don't quite have an ETA for when it'll be completely done and out there. I do know that I'm enjoying it immensely, and I have pretty high standards for what I want it to turn out to be, so that's what's taking a little bit longer. Now, a patron happened to message me during one of my writing sprees, and we ended up exchanging playlist ideas for different scenarios. In my case, it was putting words on paper. For him, it was sanding down the floor. I think I won that one. Anyway, one that came up was the Chris Janson Buy Me a Boat. And I admit, even though I am not wildly into country music, there are some songs that'll suck me in, and yeah, that's one of them. So I already had that on my playlist. It's just one that gets you moving, I guess. Now, in my hometown area in the States, there you'll find every wedding reception or graduation party, it has some of these core country songs played just to get people out on the floor and dancing. And Cameron Marlowe, he came up to, and wow, he has a voice. So, as for the poly, swinging, cucking bit, I have an orphan storyline that I return to every so often. It's not actually a session, though it could be one. It's more of an entertaining daydream. Cerebral masturbation, perhaps. Just not sure what it'd fall under. So I ended up reading like guides, terminology, etc. to different lifestyles and so on. Basically just trying to really work out which direction I want to go with this. Whether it should be very taboo or dial it back so it's not. Anyway, I realized as I was going through, and what led me to this, is there are so many definitions and terms. First, I think we all know polyamory, right? Basically having multiple romantic, sometimes sexual relationships with people And it's where everyone knows what's going on. There's no secrets. Swinging is more of a sex-based, though, that the lines there can also blur. Again, usual multiple partners scenarios. There's something called like soft swinging, which some people describe as you're with your partner, the other person's with their partner, and you just happen to be in the same room together. Though I have heard other definitions of that one. And like I said, it can blur. It's the intent, the focus, the emphasis. It sets them apart. And then we have like the trusty cuckolding. And buddy, if you don't know what that is, then I'm shocked, because I don't know how you can spend any time at all in like fetishy things and not know what it is. But hey, let's pretend you are one of those sweet summer children and you have no idea. It's basically when another dude has sex with your girl. Now, I'm sure it could also be another woman having sex with your woman, or so on, or another guy having sex with your guy and such. Basically, the person you're in this relationship with is having a sexual encounter with another person. With or without you being there. Now, here is my personal conspiracy theory. It's that a lot of these guys that claim to be into cuckolding, that claim to be cucks, they're not really. They're just really into live porn. A free way, well, I guess it's not free if you get a hotel and all that, but a free way to get a show. And they're not actually running that whole emotional gambit that's supposed to go along with cuckolding. I'd be interested to hear what you think about that one. Okay, so there we are. We're on the same page. Let me tell you the lead-in for this story, this daydream that's in my head. And then I want you to send me a message about which direction you think it should go. Poly, swinging, cuck, or something altogether different. I'm all ears. And just warning you, you may again hear some noises around in the background. My neighbors appear to have something going on that involves a hammer and a drill sometimes. None of it is really a problem for the podcast, but again, obviously, it's why I haven't been getting actual sessions going on. There's nothing more relaxing than somebody hammering next to you. So, this particular story, I very much imagine it that the female hypnotist is the one that's telling it. I've been studying and using hypnotism for a while now. I'm really quite good at it, but you likely know that already. It can occasionally serve as a good icebreaker at gatherings and social events. There are usually a couple of folks ready to try to be hypnotized. Of course, hypnotism occasionally receives a poor rap. Individuals are concerned with what you might ask them to do when they're under. Guys, a little less so. Maybe it's the company that I keep, but I suspect that more than a few welcome that lack of control, the lack of responsibility, the lack of, consequences. I routinely find myself discussing how you can't hypnotize someone into doing anything they wouldn't ordinarily do, or secretly want to do, and enjoy showing this by giving a small performance. I like to pick a handsome fellow, The kind of guy that knows he's attractive and enjoys being seen. And he's the one that I put under. I pull a few games out of my expansive array of party tricks. Having him bark like a dog, or pretend to be a cat. And then I finish with a doozy. I tell my useful subject that he is to strip naked and walk home in the nude, whistling the whole way. Now, admittedly, this is to get him to snap out of it pretty damn quick. It also puts everyone else at ease. I end up with more volunteers, more tricks to be shown, like you have a balloon tied to your wrist, or you're making a snowman. And add in a few post-hypnotic suggestions like when I say robin, you will flap your imaginary wings. Or when I say snowman, you'll shiver. Little things that keep the people's imaginations running and generally results in laughter. I was at a friendly gathering recently and one of the guys, we'll call him Ben, had seen my little act a few times. He asked if I'd demonstrate it for the rest and, well, there wasn't much going on, so I agreed. I went through my little routine, starting with Ben as my first subject. We'd arrived earlier than most of the crowd, so it was plenty of time for a quick show and a mild flirtation with this small group. But it didn't take me long to realize that I'd managed to bring all of them under. All of them at the same time. This half-dozen fellow fetishy friends. And that's when a few naughty thoughts crept into my mind. Like I said, you can't really make a subject do something they don't want to do. But you can make them do something they would do if the situation arose. I decided to experiment. Okay, so that is the story opener. What would you do in this case, this daydream of ours? Would you maybe have some of the others not notice or hear what one person is doing, and then go ahead and pull that person closer to you? Or would you maybe pair them off and have them go entertain each other? What is it? If you found yourself, or if you wanted to be in that scenario, one of these people, what would you hope would happen? Let your imagination go wild. Really, just sit with it for a bit, and then let me know. I can't wait to hear.